Good man, right? Very watchtower. They're dead.
Just time.
And a minute.
You do not know. What about?
And a minute.
What about? Things are now in motion.
We do not.
You do not know pain. You do not know.
I'm gonna.
Just time.
And a minute.
Just he threw down my enemy. And what about? Things are now in motion.
We do not.
You do not know pain. You do not know.
I'm gonna.
Just time.
And a minute.
You do not know. What about?
And a minute. Blues 500. We do not stop riding. What do you mean?
Just time.
And a minute.
Just he threw down my enemy.
Blues 500. We do not stop riding.
What about me?
Good man, right?
Oh, all right, guys. Back being live again. Want to wait until it cooled down just a little bit. I changed the camera position. Just to give you guys a better look at what I'm doing. This is that knife that we were forging out. When was that? Was that Wednesday? Wednesday night? Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. So all I need to do right now is I need to get rid of all these hammer marks in here. I don't really need to touch the edge at all. That's actually looking pretty good. It's a real nice distal taper down the edge, or at least towards the edge of the bevel. It's actually a little thin right here, so I definitely want to watch, how much time I'm hesitating on there. And after we get this grinding done, then it's time for heat treat. Hopefully someone will remind me to not forget to stamp my blade. I'm going to switch some things around here. Get set up so I can actually read what's going on the screen. Got a new music app, so that's going to help a little bit. Just so you know, I'm going to be turning the mic off when I'm grinding over here because this thing's really loud. but occasionally I will look over my right shoulder, say hi to anyone who happens to be popping in. Well, most of the sanding's done. Or at least rough sanding. Depressurize that line. Give it a minute to air out. So now I just need to get everything ready. Back, I think I have done a small YouTube video about this holder. And all it does is it holds my touch mark. This allows me to do this a lot more simply than, have to readjust everything. Oh, hey, Dwayne, how you doing? So I've been working on that knife that we did the other day. I don't know if you can see that. I know the YouTube caption's probably wrong. It probably says Wednesday afternoon in the forge. But it's actually the Friday grind. So essentially what I did was I took this down, took all the forge scale off, got rid of all the hammer marks, and so now I'm actually going to take this. I need to put my touch mark in it, and then I need to normalize and then harden. Oh, awesome! Glad to hear your workshop passed the building inspection. The real secret to that is to get a real minimal setup, have it inspected, and then add all the other crap that you want. I know I ran into an issue one time with what was it? Running double 120 volt outlets, and the way around that was to actually take out the doubles and put in a single gang, what they call an appliance plug. Now, Dwayne, what size pipe are you using for your chimney? Personally, I'm running, well, I've got a couple of different chimneys here, but what is my primary? I think 10 inches. And really, I think that you can get away with 8. At my old shop, I actually had to go through an extractor system, and so there we used 8-inch. 8 is pushing it, but if you just minimize the amount of 90-degree, those 90-degree bends, the elbows can really, they'll really hamper the airflow. You say that's 3 foot by 4 foot, what, as a hood over top of it? So I have one that's really, really similar. Oh, it's straight up? Yeah. You'll probably, it'll work fine. It's just when you try to get those 90-degree angles in there to, take it up, over, and then back up again. Man, that's where you really need that volume to be able to move. Just checking my dimensions here really quick. All right. So, we're gonna go ahead and, oh, that's a great price. And Dwayne, I got my hood. It's actually an old piece out of some restaurant that was closing down. So I took this 3 foot by 3 foot hood, and that's what we use for our outside cold porch. I should really move this monitor so I can see it. What's cool is when you're doing Damascus, and you get this nice little polish going on, and as it heats up, you can actually see all the individual layers. That's without, actually acid etching it. It's just from the heat. I just want to be careful. I don't want to overheat anything. Really trying to minimize my amount of time in the heat here. But I am gonna, after I go ahead and do my touch mark, I'm gonna just straighten it out. I'm gonna be very gentle about it. Got a really nice heat on the blade. I want that heat to carry back a little bit onto the tang, just so we don't stress that out when we hit the touch mark. So let's see. Wade's asking about the style and how many layers. So we got to 36, then I injected or layered a piece of 1095 in between, sandwiched it. So 36 plus 36 is 72, we're at 73 layers. That's just random pattern Damascus. Yeah, I'm really hoping. That's why I wanted to do that inner core of the 1095, just to see if we could lift that edge up a little bit, maybe get a real nice, solid, defined 1095 bevel there. But I have to take this down to almost, it's really close to a zero grind. Got my stamp. Can't find the hammer I want for straightening, so. a little bit of a warp there. Wait, I actually had Hodak engraving there in, I believe, Wisconsin. Maria Hodak is the person that sets everything up. Her husband, though, I believe knows all the engraving. Although, that's the one I just used is actually a really old touchmark. One of my originals when I finally came up with the new design. So probably 10 years old or so. I think that one was from Columbia Marketing Tools. I'm not saying I couldn't make my own touchmark, and I did design it, but it was so much easier to just draw it, have somebody else with the proper equipment make it for me. I feel like a chiropractor was doing this. Yeah, for the touchmark, all I actually had to do was I drew it all up in Illustrator, and I sent it over to them, and essentially they made the two-dimensional DXF file. That way in the build, they just had to set the depth then. It'll run you a good like 120 to 160 bucks. But in order to design your pieces, that's well worth it. And I have two stamps here in the shop. One of them is the Underhill forge stamp, and then the other one is my personal stamp. Most guys, though, I think can just get away with one. By the way, Dwayne, is that music too loud? I actually had to switch music programs because the one place where I streamed did not play the previous playlist. So this is my first time doing this import thing with it. Getting really, really technologically complicated. I definitely just didn't want silence when I was using the grinder. That looks really good. Let's see if I can correct that volume thing. There we go. I think I dropped it by about 10%. Okay, well, still, I mean, you know, you're still looking under 300 bucks. And maybe even less than that, depending on the size you need. My one stamp, I believe it is, I think it's ½ inch by ½ inch. My personal stamp is, I'd say it's about, let's see, it is just over ½ inch. So 5/8 by 3/8, 5/8 by 3/8. Oh, cool, hey! Jane Gillian, Jeff! You finally got it working! I apologize, the last time that I streamed, you commented on the YouTube, basically a stream that I had started and then stopped because I had to change the setup. Catching me on a boring day though, it was all grinding on the grinder, and now we're just doing all the heat treat. So grab a beer and cool off, and come on in. The water's fine, I guess. I really wanted to do this with my molten salt tank, just because it makes it so much nicer to clean up. Especially when I took the Damascus all down. You know, I took it down to what did I take it down to tonight? 120 grit before heat treating, and it's just nice when you're using the molten salts, and it's so quick to clean up after that. Yeah, Dwayne, I think the reason why the chat was so laggy, that what was that Wednesday's broadcast? You know, I was broadcasting for almost 4 hours. One thing I think I really want to address know if it's just me or my eye pulling it out. Most people would probably never even see it, but it looks like there's just a little bit of an S bend here. It should just be a light tap to correct. So the molten salt tank is essentially a giant stainless steel tube, and the kiln is built around it. And I have two different types of salts. One of them is what we call low temperature salt. It melts at about 430 degrees, and that's for quenching. And then I have, right now, I have a high temp salt in there. So I actually have two different inserts for the whole setup, because otherwise you can't get the salts out of the tube once they're cooled down. But the high temp salts start melting at about 1350, I want to say. What's really nice about using the salts is when I'm using the high temp salts, we don't get any of the oxidation that we get here in the forge. With the low temp salts, I can actually come out of the forge or out of the electric heat treat oven, and I can do what's known as R quenching. So essentially I'm quenching at a high temperature, but very, very fast. And it only works with certain steels, but I can actually do it with 1095, where I can come out of the electric oven at 1475, and depending on the what kind of like modulus of elasticity I'm looking for out of the 1095, I can quench it, say 550 to 650 degrees, and instead of having to go through hours of tempering cycle, I can actually get it done in about half an hour. But unfortunately, it does not work with all steels. I think that is decent enough. Quite frankly, this knife is probably going to end up living in my kitchen for the rest of the summer. And it really annoyed that none of my kitchen knives are perfect for giving me paper-thin slices of tomatoes. Because I don't actually like tomatoes, but I grow a bunch. And I can tolerate them when I cut them thin enough that I can read the newspaper through them. And I know that lycopene and stuff like that is good for, good for a man's body. So I should be eating more of them. And I don't think pizza sauce counts. Yeah, it's definitely really close to what you're tempering at. You have to look. Like I said, not all steels are suitable for it. And when you're reading up the specs, especially online, or even in, on a spec sheet, you got to keep in mind that most of that stuff is written for 1 inch by 1 inch cross section. And so when you're dealing with a knife, like here, I've got a 1/8 inch thick spine. So, the time is totally different on there. I don't think I'd recommend it for, a home hobby shop. Even most guys that I know that do it professionally don't need it. And most of the, I don't know more than, say, 2 other guys that have multiple salt pots. At least, I mean, forges that I've gone to. I know plenty of people on the internet that have them. I've been doing a lot of dehydrating sauce. Where I actually take the sauce and I put it in my dehydrator, and essentially I'm making it's like fruit leather. It's like fruit roll-ups, and then I'm just going ahead and I'm vacuum packing them. It's really great for camping. So I'll also take my pasta and I'll boil that, and then I'll actually put that in the dehydrator. It takes 2 minutes then to cook up, your pasta around a campfire, and so you don't need to waste a lot of fuel just to eat. Whereas if you're just doing, regular dry pasta, 9 to 11 minutes. But yeah, you can just drop in the tomato fruit leather, the sauce fruit roll-up, whatever you want to call it, and with a little bit of water, and man, it thickens up. It becomes spaghetti sauce again. Also good for you preppers out there. And again, I've tried dehydrating just about everything. Well, 2 weeks ago, I just dehydrated shrimp. I'm going to do an extra normalizing step here just because I had to do that whole straightening that spine out. Yeah, Dwayne, I kind of wish I would have done a larger garden. My 5-year-old daughter thinks she's a vegetarian, so we planted a whole bunch of stuff only to find out that she doesn't like every vegetable. I think she's always saying that because my ex-wife is a vegetarian. Although she tells me she likes ham. Well, that's a good vegetarian meal. Personally, I think she's confusing it with other stuff, but it's cute. There we go, reset the camera again. Oh man, we make fruit roll-ups all the time. As a matter of fact, last week I didn't make these for my daughter. I actually made some fruit roll-ups for myself. I call them booze roll-ups. I actually made them with burgundy wine and berries. I think this weekend I may pick up some limes and tequila and do a tequila chili lime fruit roll-up. I don't know, it sounds interesting to me. And I think it would work great with Bloody Marias on a Sunday. And I could actually have them this Sunday because I've got nothing else going on. I was supposed to have an outdoor show at the State Farm Show complex. That got canceled. I also hope to order a new camera this week. One that doesn't time out on me. See my fancy DSLR with all the cool lenses. We'll save that for actually taking pictures. And also, like, I really like using it when I'm shooting videos here at the shop. But you know, then I'm doing everything where it's 3 to 15 minute clips at a time, and piecing everything back together. I guess I can move this camera back to where it belongs. Get a nice view from behind the power hammer. I've actually got a really cool camera sitting around in my office. It's a 360-degree camera, and I'd love to mount it up here in the ceiling. But I don't know of any way to make it controllable by the audience. I think I could just do it on a YouTube video, but I don't think I can do it when I'm streaming live. Yes, Wayne, I know the alcohol evaporates before water, but it's the flavor. That burgundy wine was great with the strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. Of course, I did a base of apricots and apples. But yeah, you can still really taste that. It was like almost like a red wine reduction. Of course, I'm a foodie, so, that really excited me. As a matter of fact, maybe I should try doing just straight wine roll-ups. Then instead of having to reduce everything in a pan, I could just toss a little bit of stock in there, throw some of that wine fruit leather. Yes, Wayne, thank you very much for reminding me that science still exists. Are you going to ruin physics for me now, too? Yeah, that's really the way to go, Dwayne, as far as teaching virtually. Especially, I mean, you're over at the War College, right? I have a really small whiteboard that actually has a scanner built into it. I'm sure they make something bigger. That's a cool way to get everything digitally where you need it to be. If I had to pick the software to use, and actually, there's something called Discord, and it's really like, how do I explain it? It has a lot of the features of Zoom, although one of the nice things is you can share your screen and your camera all at the same time. And I think I can actually, because I have multiple monitors, I think I can actually share multiple monitors all at the same time. So that's kind of cool for being able to set things up. But it's also really similar to Dropbox and IRC in the fact that Internet Relay Chat, everything that goes in there, as a matter of fact, everything you guys are typing in right now goes to the Underhill Forge Discord server, and we can read back through all the messages that have ever been typed while live streaming. And it's all in one central place. But the other thing is that you can go ahead and post files to that server as well. Most importantly, it's free. Oh, that's right. That was William that teaches at the War College. I don't know. I'm getting confused by everyone now. Teaching chemistry, though. So I guess if I say something like, right now our steel, at least in its current state at the temperature that it's at, it's all in a configuration that's a body-centered cube. Jeff, if you come by the shop, I will gladly help you with that 5 gallons of strawberry wine. But yeah, essentially what we're doing is we're taking this from a BCC configuration to an FCC configuration. Or actually an FCT, face-centered tetragonal. Because I guess it's actually elongated in the grand scheme of things. a slight warp just from sitting in that heat. But I do have a few tricks that I can utilize to take that out. Someone really needs to invent air-conditioned eye protection. God, right around your eye sockets, man. It just, the sweat starts dripping in, it burns. Wayne, I'd say congratulations on retiring, but doesn't sound like you're slowing down anytime. We'll let that cool, and then when I go back into the heat, I'm actually going to hold it, and I'm going to hold it either edge up or edge down, but I'm not going to lay it in the forge. Oh wait, Dwayne, you're in Carlisle, right? Oh, Jeff, just so you know, I believe that everything's working as far as streaming to YouTube as well. But I am glad that you're actually here on Twitch. I can actually start making money off of Twitch or, off of broadcasting through Twitch a lot easier than I can through YouTube. So I think YouTube requires me to go from the 3,000 followers I have right now to like 4,000. Whereas Twitch, I only need 50 followers and 500 minutes of broadcasting, and seven consecutive days or 7 days in a month. I forget what it is, but the restrictions are totally lifted under Twitch. So thank you very much for helping me get there. Still at about I don't know. I don't have my laser thermometer down here. I'd say the blade's probably about 200 degrees, and the tang, which kind of tapers out, I'd say parts of that are probably about 250, maybe 300 right now. Those really fancy welding hoods. My son's a professional welder. I think I mentioned that earlier in the week in the stream. But yeah, there's some guys there that have these really cool air-conditioned units. But I mean, you're talking thousands of bucks. But hey, if that's what you're doing, 48, 60 hours a week, I don't think that dropping a few grand on your own comfort is a bad thing. All right, topped off my nicotine level. Now top off the beer level. Yeah, Dwayne, there used to be a shitty little dive really close to the Moore College called Scales. I used to love going in there. And now I understand that they have like a really neat like upscale location and like an old warehouse or something, but the one I remember was literally like a rundown pizza shop with a giant beer cooler. And what was cool was in high school, they actually let us drink O'Doul's. Because obviously we weren't 21. But it was nice to have a beer with your taco salad. Dwayne, it's twitch.tv. But yes, when I go back and correct the whole YouTube thing, because I'm pretty sure it's telling everyone that it's Wednesday afternoon. I'll make sure to put the Twitch link in there. Just turning the pressure down a little bit. Now, our Damascus is 15 at 20 and 1095. So 1095 is really, really particular about how it cools down. So I'm going to have to move a little fast on this. Actually, really quick, just in case it flares up. Borrow Mason's gloves. And the reason why I'm not laying this flat is because they just don't want to risk picking it back up and even putting a slight bend in there. Chances are I might have a mild bend in this piece anyway, but I can actually fix that during the tempering cycle as long as it's not too exaggerated. So here we go. Into the oil and count to 11. So far, so good. Just gonna brush it off here. The Parks 50 is not such a big problem, but when I was doing a lot of stuff in 1075, 1080, 1084, and I was using preheated canola oil, that canola oil really likes to form almost like a varnish during the heat treat process. And Parks 50 pretty much just like it kind of sublimates or evaporates away. But canola oil leaves a film, and yeah, it kind of thickens up and becomes sort of like shellac or varnish. But there we go. That blade is looking really nice and thin and straight. So I'm very happy with how that's turning out. Now, I get this in the oven. I just realized something with my heat treat setup right now, and that is the fact that during my cycle I have everything programmed. My heat treat oven, it has a nice little touchscreen display on it, and it's Wi-Fi, and you know, like. I can use it from anywhere in the world if I want to. But during my cycle, I set it up during the winter when it's nice and cold here in the shop. And so in between temperatures that I have it going for, so I'm holding it, say, 385 degrees, and after it holds that for an hour and a half, I have it go to 80 degrees, hold that for a few minutes, and then it goes up to 405 degrees, or, you know, I'm just throwing those numbers out there. But the 80 degrees is the issue. I realized it's something that was being tempered in there last night, never hit the second cycle, because the oven itself never cooled down to 80 degrees on the inside. Yeah, I mean, peanut oil has a high flash point, but it's, again, one of those things where I'm not saying that you can't do like 1095 in it. However, I know of a lot of guys that end up getting failure. The steel requires hardening at a very small window that's just a few milliseconds from one temperature to below 700 degrees. And the problem is the viscosity of the peanut oil. For steels like 1095, essentially you're getting failure, I don't know, just to throw a number out there, probably 20% of the time. That's not a huge deal. However, when you're trying to do like 12 blades at a time, if 20% of them need to be reheat treated, now you're wasting a lot of fuel and wasting a lot of your own time. So that's where the Parks 50 quench oil comes into play. However, with other steels such as 1084 or 1075, the only thing that I would do with them is preheat them to about 128 degrees, depending on how many I was doing. I mean, if I was quenching a lot of mass, then I would only do like a small amount of them and wait for the oil to cool down, or I'd run a circulating cooler in there to cool down the whole mass. But yeah, like I don't have a problem with that with other steels, but that 1095 is just so particular. And there's other steels that are the exact same way. They're like the prima donna, you know? Oh, well, at least I got the forge off. Give me a second, I'm gonna grab a cold one here. Which is a total lie, by the way. Because I put these beers into the fridge about 3 hours ago, and they're still not ice cold. But I think I'm done with all the hard work today. I'm trying to figure out, I really want to forge tomorrow and possibly Sunday. Although I have been really lax on keeping up on my catfishing, so like I haven't been out on the river in 3 weeks. I've got a really nice fancy kayak with fish finder and electric motor, and I should really just sell it because I seem to only get to use it 4 or 5 times a year. So Dwayne, what kind of volume are you using for the peanut oil? Like how many gallons? And I realize I've got to wait for the whole flag thing. I saw the countdown timer though, so I caught that. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, come on. Can I just say that using a PC is really not my forte. Apparently, the buttons work a lot different on a PC than they do on a Mac. Oh, and it probably doesn't help that I'm using a Mac keyboard. Ah. Now I'm just trying to read everything that I'm typing here. There. Now I can go back to here. So a small dairy tank, huh? The volume is definitely the most important thing. Yeah, and I definitely recommend checking the temperatures. The big thing is that you want to keep it down below. I mean, it's going to vary based on the oil that you're using, but you want to keep it down below whatever the flash point is, or it's actually a percentage of that flash point. Because when you go to pull out again, if your steel is still at, say, 500 degrees, which is well below the austenite to martensitic transformation temperature, but still your oil that is on that blade is going to just burst into flames. And I mean, while that looks really cool on Fortune Fire, I don't think that you need to do that. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm not sure about the chat delay. I mean, we do have to come to there's a possible solution here, and that is it's all my fault. I just push buttons, and what works works. But yeah, also making sure that you have enough volume. I've talked to a bunch of guys who are like, well, I've taken an old ammo can and I filled it up because they've seen guys on YouTube do it. But the problem is that there's not enough volume there for, well, and if you're teaching chemistry, you should know a little bit about this, but if there's not enough volume to absorb the heat, then it's not going to give you the proper heat treatment. Oh, look at you, Jeff, being all fancy. Watching on YouTube and chatting on Twitch. That's like Uber user kind of stuff. So I plan on forging tomorrow. I just haven't figured out what I'm going to do. But it's probably going to be, oh no, I'm looking at the steel that I have. I might end up doing a twist pattern Damascus, or a herringbone. I think that would actually be kind of cool. I'm kind of looking at stuff that I need for the house, which of course, I mean, the way that it works is every time that I make something for myself, I use it for a month or two, and then someone comes along and says, I'd really like to buy that. So I sell it, and then I don't have it anymore. But yes, Dwayne, you're absolutely correct. I think it's really just done to sell commercials. Because there's no benefit to doing that sort of interrupt and quench if a proper heat treat is going to be done. The other issue I have is apparently, like, they're in charge of hardening their steel, but it's done off screen as far as the tempering goes. And from what I've heard is it might actually be something that's more in the producer's control. So I don't know that I like that idea. You know, Dwayne, you don't necessarily know that Twitch is going to be more real time. I could just be slow. I mean, I'm not wearing my reading glasses right now. Hey, Dwayne, thanks a lot for watching, brother. I'm gonna finish this beer, and nobody else has any more questions. I'm gonna, I don't know, cancel the stream or shut down the stream and figure out what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. Jeff, do you have any requests? If you say greatsword, I'm gonna ignore you. We should do that little finger pose. I'll have to come back and screenshot this later. While thinking about it. There we go. You know what? They don't actually get a lunch break. It's actually filmed over 2 days. They're just required to wear the same clothes. And here you thought that television didn't lie. It's the blacksmith finger pose. Actually, that's partially correct. The real blacksmith's finger pose. But yeah, apparently the first 6 hours is actually is one day and then the other. Cool. So it's about what 7:40 or so. 7:35. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Again, I'll be broadcasting again tomorrow. Always ironing out all the different issues, but I appreciate you guys for watching. Spread the word. We'll catch you on the flip side. But I'll talk to you tomorrow or Sunday. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
Just time. Just peace.